Well, it's pretty clear we failed with our attempt to hold Congress accountable where they are going on vacations without funding critical departments in our government and leaving people to work without pay. We asked you guys to send us photos when they went on that 2-week Easter break earlier this month. We posted the photos. Guess what? They're about to go on another 10-day break. The House is bailing today, and the Senate is either bailing today or tomorrow, and they are going to be gone all next week without funding the bill for DHS that would pay for TSA and Coast Guard and FEMA employees and other employees. People who have gone without pay for a long time. This is the longest shutdown in American history. And they're going away again. And Mark Wayne Mullen, the Secretary of DHS, said that they're not going to be able to make payroll beginning next week. So there are TSA agents, as an example, who have not been paid, over a period of time for weeks and weeks and weeks. And now they're losing their apartments. They're losing their homes. They're losing their cars. They're losing their sanity. And Congress is going away, and each side is pointing at the other side and saying, it's not my job, and I'm not the one that has said that we're not going to fund it because we passed a bill, but the other side won't accept it. Well, yeah, one side wants one thing and one side wants another thing, and that's where we get compromise. And we have usually gotten compromise in the past, but we're not getting it now. And now people are suffering really badly. And I need a piece of paper here to actually go over this. There are so many breaks they've been taking. So I told you that they're about to go on a 10-day break. Earlier in mid-April, they had a 2-week break for Easter, an Easter break. That's where we got all these pictures. This past weekend, you got Saturday and Sunday off if you're working? Well, they had a 4-day weekend last weekend. And in addition to this upcoming 10-day break, guess what happens on May 25th? They have another week break, which will turn into a 10-day break. So what are we doing here? Number one, even though we failed the first time clearly, send us more pictures next week. Let's see where our members of Congress are. That would be interesting. The other thing that is interesting is we're getting a lot of members who are saying, look, I would like to stay here, but the leadership said go home and we can't do anything about it. Yes, they can. They can vote leadership out. And Republicans could do that if they're not happy with being dismissed, it seems every other week. And guess what? Democrats could too, because all they have to do is get 3 or 4 Republicans on their side. And even if they pick another Republican as the Speaker and the Majority Leader, maybe they pick people who will keep Congress open. How's that? Or maybe if they seem serious, the current leaders will find God and do their job and keep Congress there until they pass this bill. And so you wonder why we have been beating this drum about out with their asses over the last 3 or 4 months. And the idea here is simply Congress as a body is not doing its job. Republicans could compromise. Democrats could compromise. There are compromises that could be made, but they're not doing it. They've dug their heels in and they simply blame the other side. And you say, what do you have to say to TSA agents? And they say, we're sorry. Well, that's not good enough. Sorry doesn't pay the rent, as they say. So what do you do other than say, look, if you guys can compromise as a body, you fail. And we just are not going to vote any of you back in. And again, I know that's radical, and it's also not ideal that there are not necessarily great replacement candidates in every situation. But even if you like your congressman, think long and hard about this. what are we going to do? And say, okay, we'll make an exception for the ones we like. Well, then nothing's going to change. So you got to do something that's kind of radical here. And that's why we started this OUTA movement. So we will see. But the immediate issue is that Mark Wayne Mullin says that they can't make payroll. And if you are a business, a private business that can't make payroll, your employees are probably not going to hang out. But they're asking employees to work without pay. This is messed up, and we got to change it.